The last problem I'm going to do with you is problem number 8. I picked problem number 8 because in problem number 8, unlike the other two problems that I showed you, we actually have to find what y equals first. In other words, we're going to need to solve one of the two equations so that it's in slope-intercept form. I'm going to choose to solve the bottom one for a couple reasons. One, I see that all of the numbers that are in there are all 6s, so I know mathematically that'll work out well. And then the second reason is because there's actually room underneath it to do some work. So I figured that would just be a little bit easier to work with. So remember, we're trying to make this y equals mx plus b, so I'm trying to get y by itself. First thing we always do is subtract 6x on both sides. When we do that, the 6x is gone on the left, and that leaves us with positive 6y equals, and I'm going to put this in order so that it already is in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So 6y is equal to negative 6x minus 6. And then the only thing I still need to do is divide by 6 so that I can get y by itself. And when I do that, all of those 6's are going to be 1's or negative 1's. So 6 divided by 6 is 1, so that's just y equals. Negative 6 divided by positive 6 is negative 1x. Negative 6 divided by positive 6 is negative 1. So right now I have y equals negative 1x minus 1, or we could say y equals negative x minus 1. But this is going to be the equation I'm going to use instead of the second equation. So now that I have that, I can replace my y with negative 1x minus 1. So the y that I have here is going to be substituted for negative 1x minus 1. So I'm going to make some room over here. So I have negative 3x minus 4 times negative 1x minus 1. And that all goes in parentheses, of course. I have double parentheses there, that's okay. Equals 2. So at this point, I'm going to distribute. So that's always going to be my first step when I'm solving a multi-step equation. If the distributive property is there, I absolutely have to do that first. So now we have negative 3x. Negative 4 times negative 1x is going to give me a positive 4x. And negative 4 times negative 1 is going to give me positive 4 equals 2. And quickly a lot of those negative signs got cleaned up, which is really nice because when we have too many negative signs, we tend to lose them. So the next thing we have to do is combine like terms. We have negative 3x and positive 4x. That's just 1x plus 4 equals 2. Easy, just subtract 4 from both sides. 1x just means x. 4 minus 4 is 0, so we just have x equals 2 minus 4, which is negative 2. So I now have my x value. So now that I have my x value, I can use that number, so the value of x, which is negative 2, to replace the x value here to do that substitution. So this negative x, the x is equal to negative 2 is going to be put into that x right there. So we have y equals negative 1x minus 1. Let me get it so you guys can actually see it. There we go. So then we have y equals negative 1 times negative 2, because that's what we just found x to be. And that's minus 1, of course. Y equals negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So we have x equals negative 2 and y equals 1, which means my ordered pair is negative 2, comma 1. So this answer is actually right here, letter O. So that's problem number 8, and the answer is O. And that's it.